Good morning and welcome back to my kitchen. My name is Kat, and if you're new here, we have been baking our way through Some of My Best Friends Are Cookies by Emelia Jackson. Today's recipe is Viennese Whirls. These biscuits need to chill in the fridge, so I haven't turned my oven on yet, but I will do that once I have them chilling in the fridge. So the first thing that we need is 220 grams of unsalted butter. That is exactly 220. I'm just going to wash my hands. We also need 90 grams of icing sugar. And 2 teaspoons of vanilla. And we're going to beat this together until it's light and creamy. That's pretty light and creamy. So into this bowl, we're going to sift 30 grams of cornstarch or corn flour, depending upon what you call it. It is the same thing. With 230 grams of plain flour. And a quarter teaspoon of salt. And I have used too fine a sieve, and all of my salt is in the bottom of my sieve. So to this, we're going to add 1 teaspoon of cardamom. I'm going to use my half teaspoon measure because my teaspoon is wet with vanilla paste. So 2 half teaspoons or 1 full teaspoon. And the zest of 1 orange. And we're just going to beat this together on low until it forms a dough. So there's our dough, and we need to put this into a piping bag with a star nozzle. And it does say that the dough is going to be quite firm. So I've actually double bagged my tip because I use the disposable tipless bags. And I'm a little bit worried that it's going to split. I took the second bag off because it was just getting in the way. But this is definitely going to take some elbow grease. I do have carpal tunnel, so I think it's going to be difficult, but we will give it a go. And I might just put a elastic band around the end of this to help me attempt to keep it closed. All right, and now we need to do S's. This is really, really difficult. And I've broken the back. Well, actually, yeah, I've broken the back. I am not going to be able to do this, whether that's how stiff the dough is or whether that's my wrist, I don't know. So I think I will just do it as regular shaped cookies. Well, they're definitely not as pretty as the ones in the book, but I did make them S-shaped. So now we have to put these in the fridge for at least half an hour to get completely firm. Look at the color of this orange. So our biscuits have been in the fridge for 40 minutes and I am now preheating my oven. Here I have 150 grams of dark chocolate, which I am going to melt in the microwave. It says to melt it and then leave it to cool. So I am going to melt it now and then leave it to cool. Actually, maybe I won't do that because the biscuits have to cool as well. I will just bake the biscuits. So here are our biscuits. They are now nice and firm. And these need to bake at 180 degrees for 15 to 18 minutes. And I suspect because this is a cast iron tray and it is now really cold, these will probably take more like 18, but we'll see how we go. So, as a confession, I don't like chocolate and orange. So I think what I am going to do is I will do 3/4 of these biscuits dipped into the dark chocolate, and I will leave 5 of the 20 plain. My husband and my kids do like chocolate and orange, but I don't. And my mum doesn't, and my sister doesn't. So, depending upon where these biscuits end up, I want to have some that don't have chocolate and orange together. So what I did while these were cooling, I toasted the pistachios in the oven, and then I let them cool, and then I chopped them up into little pieces. I melted the dark chocolate in the microwave, and I have left that on the bench to cool. This chopped pistachio is about half of what I toasted, which is a little bit less than the recipe called for. The recipe called for 100 grams of chopped pistachio, but my packet just happened to be 80 grams. So I did one whole packet, and that will hopefully be enough. As the chocolate is cooling, it is getting harder to just dip, and my biscuits are breaking. So I think I will start scooping. So the recipe called for 200 grams of dark chocolate. I did 150, which I think will be fine, particularly given that I am not going to put chocolate on 1/4 of them. And I am being fairly generous with the chocolate. I don't think that the biscuits necessarily need it, but I'll just use up all of what I've got. So I've got plenty of pistachios left over, and I will try maybe this tiny little half. It's definitely not my favourite. I think my family's really going to like it, and I think I'm going to really like the biscuits on their own. I just really don't like chocolate and orange together. The biscuits have a really, really nice orange flavour. The nuts add a bit of crunch. They're quite good together. It's just not my thing. So now, just the biscuit. Now that I do really like. It's got a good amount of orange in it. It is a soft, sort of buttery biscuit type texture, sort of sandy, very, very nice. I am sure that the rest of my family will enjoy those biscuits with the chocolate on them, and these ones, they can be for me, and if my mum and my sister pop over, I'll share them with them. Thanks for being here today as we made these Viennese whirls, or even though my whirls were not as pretty as the ones in the book, I do think maybe if you didn't have weak wrists like I have, you wouldn't have had as much trouble. Or maybe if I had sort of warmed up the dough a bit in my hands. I didn't want to knead it because I didn't want to overwork it, but maybe the warmth would have just softened that butter a little bit more and made it a little bit easier to get through the piping tip. I don't really know. I couldn't do it. So maybe you'll have better luck if you try this recipe. If you would like, I will pop another one of my videos here that you can enjoy between now and my next upload. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being here. I can't wait to see you next time. Bye for now.